Welcome to episode 24 of the Sober Stretch podcast, the podcast for anyone with a problematic, complicated relationship with alcohol. Maybe you're a full-blown alcoholic and you can't quit. Maybe your grey area drinking's gotten out of control and you need some guidance. We are the podcast for you. I'm Gary. I am 10 years sober, and my good friend here, Craig, is 2. Well done on the 2 years, mate. How you doing? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I am, steady away. Nothing really interesting to report.
Same
Which
as
is
that.
kind of how I like it. I quite like boring and steady.
Yeah. I like steady, but I like to have a few things to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have shit to look forward to. I start feeling a bit like bleak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and do you know what? I used to think. I remember when I got sober. I remember that I was always waiting for an email, and what I mean by that is when I never did anything when I was drinking apart from drinking. So, but when I got sober, I'd like apply for to be a volunteer on a language program.
Yeah.
And I'd be excited about the response, or I'd applied for a new job, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if they email me today."
yeah.
You know, oh, I'm going there in 4 weeks. That's something to look forward to, and that was a real fucking eye opener for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
not boredom, just fucking peace and tranquility.
Yeah. One peace is just the fucking peace is the one. Or
Yeah, boy.
spiritual, man, but no, peace is the one, mate. But no, not much going on. I've got a race later. I'm doing a trail run, so it's at night. I just booked it on a spontaneous one when I was in bed looking at my phone, and I thought I'm a bit, what's the word, underwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, fuck it, what's going on? And then this advert popped up about a race, and it was a night one, so I've give it a well, mate. Got to wear a fucking head torch and shit.
Wicked, man. You'll end up like cave diving and
Yeah,
lost.
mate. I hope so. I need some adventure.
There'll be a search party out for you. People think you've started drinking again.
yeah. I said to someone yesterday, because I was down the pub yesterday, and some people were saying about you have a drink again, as they do, fucking non-stop. But I said, like, to put it bluntly, because it must have been the third or fourth person that asked me. I said, if I have a drink again, that will be the end of me. That, honestly, it will, because I haven't got it in me again. I don't think to do. Oh mate, like I couldn't get out of that hangover. I generally couldn't. I wouldn't be able to get out of it because I wouldn't stop.
It's so much easier to stay sober than to get sober again.
Oh mate, yeah. Because
I'm guessing.
Like, imagine the people that like rely on you as well. Like, imagine how many people you'd let down.
Oh God.
My family would be so disappointed and fucking upset. I think they'd be mourning for weeks over it.
We had good Craig for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now he's a cunt again.
yeah. Oh,
yeah. If I posted a picture of me on social media, and I mean my personal accounts, with a drink in my hand, I'd probably have about 250 messages in an hour.
You
like, what happened?
Yeah, you are our god. What the fuck?
Yeah. Wanker again, eh?
And all your followers just go with you.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna relapse.
Yeah, awful.
No, it's
awful.
Not gonna happen. But sometimes
I like the fact that I know. Sorry.
Sometimes you just have to put it bluntly, don't you? You're like, because of the amount of people that are like, can't you just have one? Can't you just have a two? Can't you just have a couple and not do any coke? No, mate. That's the whole reason why I'm here now.
Yeah. Like, what is it? What's the biggest problem about with your cocaine addiction? The first pint.
Yeah. Well, it's true.
Of course it is,
mate. I've said so many times, haven't I? Like, I'd never think about doing coke unless I drank.
Yeah, but not a chance. Not a chance.
A lot of silly shit that I've done in my life, I wouldn't fucking think about unless I had a few drinks and thought I was the fucking man. Thought I was hard as fuck for some reason.
Oh man, drinking.
So today we're going to. It's Well, it's quite linked to that. To be fair, it's how to put it in the right words. It's feeling like alienated because you don't drink, because it's so culturalized. If you don't drink in the UK, probably the same as most countries in the world. If you don't drink, it's like you are a fucking weirdo. That's what it feels like. And the amount of people that are like, why don't you drink? You're not just going to have a couple. Da, 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 da. It's like, nah, mate. I was a fucking raging alcoholic. I would probably be dead now. Probably would be. If I weren't dead, I'd certainly be on my way. So yeah, it's about how to sort of get over that and the best things to do and how to react. I probably don't react the right way, but it's quite a big thing, isn't it? Because it's you say you don't drink and everyone's like, what? What the fuck?
I know, it's bonkers. It's like how to navigate all those weird looks and weird sentences, what to say in those situations, how to feel about yourself when you go home that day, you know, after something like that's happened. And and just fucking telling people.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for me to sit here 10 years sober and say, just fucking tell people. But I think the sooner you are blunt about it, the better. And the quicker people realise that this is a lifelong decision, the better. But there are all kinds of people that drink, and there are all kinds of people that will talk shit and wind you up or take the piss out of you. So, and it's obviously as 10 years sober and a dad, I don't go out that much.
No.
So I don't encounter these things anymore, you know.
Yeah.
At all. And I'm so long in the tooth with it. And at the beginning, I was brutal to anyone that kind of poked me or wound me up. And I personally found it quite easy to nip it in the bud by just being frank.
Yeah.
And sometimes a little rude, but that maybe that's not the perfect way. But as someone, as in you, who experiences it more, you're younger, you're single, you're out and about, you know, you've got a more active social life than me. How does it rear its head? Like, when does it kind of come up?
Well, obviously, when you go out, so if you're in a pub and you don't drink, that's a bit I suppose that's a bit fucking hypocritical, really. But what are you gonna do? Sit in your bed and choke the chicken 10 times a day? Do you know what I mean?
You only do that for the first 2 years.
Yeah. That's one of the new coping mechanisms.
Yeah,
Fucking
wanking.
make yourself silly.
How did you get sober? Just had loads of wanks.
Yeah. So when you go to a pub, obviously people are like, do you want to drink? Or because a lot of people know that I don't drink now, they're like, you're still not drinking, can't you just have one or two and just, do you know what I mean, not do any silly shit? And it's like, nah, I can't. That's normally the only, I mean, there are other times when it comes up as well, like at work and stuff like that. If you have work parties, Christmas, special occasions, you come into this, you come to that. Yeah, you do want to have a few beers before. No, I don't drink. So, and then it really, it should just be nipped in the bud, shouldn't it? Like when you say I don't drink, it should be like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's always a fucking triage of questions that follow with it. Like, what? None? It's like, no, mate, I don't drink. What? Not even one? No, I just said that, mate. I don't drink. How comes? Because I was a raging alcoholic. Oh, really? How bad were you? So,
I
do you know what
know.
I mean?
Yeah.
Just leave me alone, man. I don't fucking drink. Like, I don't want to be a party pooper or anything like that. I don't want to be a boring bastard. I can still have a good time. I can still have a laugh. I just don't drink anymore. Is that all right? Is that okay with you?
What exactly? Is that okay with you, relative stranger? You know, why? are we in a, like, obviously we know why, because culturally it's the done thing and we've all grown up with it, and it makes you cool and hard. Fuck off. But it's not enough for some people, is it?
Nah,
People
nah.
that push and push and push, what do they want to hear?
My mum said this to me actually, and she said she thinks it makes people really think about themselves and doubt themselves. So it makes them feel uncomfortable, and it makes them have to question what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt that's top of the, very high on the list of reasons why it's like that. No.
Yeah, and I remember being that person as well, because yeah, I still clearly remember thinking that people were fucking weird if they didn't drink.
Mm.
Well, what do you do then? How do you have fun? How do you fucking survive? You must have so much spare time. Do you even have a social life? And that's how I used to think. But then if someone wasn't as big as a drinker as me, or didn't drink like how I did, or didn't drink the next day to get over a hangover, that would really fucking make me question myself. And I thought, cool, do I have a problem? And it would make me a bit edgy, I suppose.
And I guess it's quite. You don't go into a social situation and someone says, "What are you having to drink?" I'll say, "I'll have a sparkling water or a Coke, whatever." No one else who is also sober or isn't that into drinking will poke you or pester you or want to know why.
No.
Because they're comfortable in their own skin. They're
Yeah, exactly.
comfortable in their own non-drinking skin.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
always the people who drink like you may have done in the past, and I kind of get it. It's just always the people that cane it. I think,
Yeah.
a 53-year-old mother that has never drunk wouldn't go, "Oh, why don't you drink? Oh, you're not having one." That just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's such a huge, huge, huge thing. I genuinely don't like to preach sobriety. I don't like to be a preacher. I will preach when people tell me that it's fucking up their life and they keep doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's when I'll say, stop fucking letting it ruin your life then. And stop wasting my time as well. Because it's boring. Do you think I'm a mug? Like, do you think I'm just here to fucking spout off to, for you to then make the exact same mistake next week? I'm bored of it. So I don't like to preach it. And if in all honesty, I would rather no one know that I'm sober. I'd rather no one knows I'm sober and they never bring it up. That would be a dream for me. Because when you go to a pub and honestly, it's like you're fucking, it's like you're on the other side. It's like you're on the other team. You're the opposition. It's like, mate, I'm not looking down on you because you're having a few drinks. Fair fucking play. I wish I could have a few drinks and handle it and not let it affect my life, but I can't.
So I don't. So why can't you just leave it be?
Exactly.
What part of your brain is missing that you can't compute that maybe I don't drink because I've got a drink problem? Oh, you don't do heroin? No, I was a smackhead for 11 years. Oh, well, why don't you just like inject it one more time? It's like, come on, it's the same shit. And it's the same fucking ignorance that you have to deal with all the time. It also depends on the circles you move in.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If half of your mates are, I bet you don't get boned out about your non-drinking by people that do triathlons and
Nah.
eat like,
Nah.
you know what I mean, like,
Yeah. It's lifestyles, isn't it?
yeah.
It's lifestyle. So the people that are into looking after themselves and find joy outside of drinking, aren't going to prod you and ask you about drinking all the time, because you share different interests. You share things, sports, fucking activities. You literally could talk about food if you wanted to. What drinkers might find boring.
Yeah.
You could talk. There's a million and one different things that you could talk about. But when you're associating with the drinkers, that drugs, partying, shagging birds, that's all they want to talk about. And
Yeah.
I'm not about that. Just not.
No. So that asks the question: do
Does
you
that mean
drop?
I'm a fucking weed?
No, no. What it says is that you've moved on and others haven't. I mean, that's the you've. Well, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is you had an extreme problem, they don't, and but it's enough of a problem for them to feel threatened by your sobriety.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird. It all depends on the person, but I saw something, a former cocaine addict on Instagram that I follow, talking about how he just started his whole life from scratch again.
yeah.
Doesn't speak to anybody at all that he used to hang out with, and that's the non-negotiable. Start from scratch. Don't hang out with these people.
Crazy. Yeah,
I've got new. He's got a missus with kids, and he's just flung himself into like the stepdaddery world,
yeah, yeah,
And you want people who listen to us talk about this will think, so what am I? What should be my go-to sentence, or what's my next action to eradicate these things? You've got to take a long, hard look at your friends, your
yeah,
social life, how you go out, and how you enjoy your free time.
yeah,
And if you're going to get pestered by people who drink that are still childish enough to bone you out of it, especially now.
yeah. They're not your
Maybe when I
people.
got sober, people were like, "Oh, what did you do for fun?" I mean, I didn't get sober in 1963. It wasn't that long ago, but 10 years is a big thing, big difference to now. It's a
Yeah,
movement. It's a movement now. It's a national, global movement where people are,
trying to
dropping it.
better themselves,
Yeah, and
trying
you're
to live a
still
better quality of life.
still getting that shit. So it's like, look, if you're gonna keep going on about it and keep prodding me and taking the piss out of me, maybe I just shouldn't hang out with you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's the drastic actions of sobriety. I made loads of took a lot of drastic action,
Yeah,
and maybe that's why I'm 10 years sober.
yeah. Because I mean, I'm lucky because I still have friends that, yeah, they go out and drink and that, and it's not a problem. That's fucking sweet. But they're my friends, so they know that it was not good for me, and they know that I can't drink. They
Mm.
accept that. But if you've got friends that are not supporting you and they're trying to encourage you to ruin your life again, they're definitely not your people.
Correct, exactly that. And that's like that's a step you can take, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cheerio, you're
yeah.
done.
Mate, you don't want alcohol to ruin your life. You don't want to. If you could choose to be a normal person that didn't get severe anxiety, it didn't affect their job, it didn't affect their relationships, do you not think that they would do anything that they could to be that?
Yeah,
But not everyone has the perfect fucking sane non-addictive brain. So for the people that can't do that, just let them be and accept it.
yeah,
They can't drink. They're not doing it because they think that they're fucking better than you or anything like that. They just can't, because it would ruin their life,
yeah.
which it ruined fucking 5 years of mine. Yeah, mate, honestly, I would love to be able to have a few drinks like a normal person. I genuinely would. But
Why though? Because if you have a few, what is it about a few that appeals? The idea of a few that appeals to you. I'm not like calling you out. I'm just
no, no, no.
curious.
I just think because it is so sociable, I think it can pop up in so many different things. You could have a business meeting. You could go on a date with a girl or a boy. You could, and I just listen. It doesn't upset me that I can't or anything like that. But if I could restart life and be able to just have a couple of drinks and not let it affect my life, I think I would do that. I think because you, no doubt about it, you do miss out. You are going to miss out on things if you stop drinking.
Certain things.
But you will gain other things. So I'm not trying to make it a negative spin. I'm not trying to say that fixing your life by not drinking is a negative thing. There's nothing negative about it. But I am saying that if I could drink, if I didn't have this addictive nature, then I probably would.
Yeah. The thing is, you can still go to the pub and watch, a football match with your friends, have 2 lime and sodas,
Yeah,
and experience that. But then it's not as simple as that, is it? It's the old environment. It's the friends around you drinking.
yeah,
So maybe you have to step back from that, and that's what you miss.
yeah, exactly.
It's just a sacrifice you have to make, isn't it? If the alcohol problem is so big in your life, like it was with us, there's no way you can get sober without making, significant sacrifices.
100%.
And sometimes that's sad, and sometimes you mourn it. But I, as someone over a decade sober, I just simply don't ever think I'm missing out on anything anymore.
No, 100%. You're not. You're definitely not. You look at your life now. Do you know what I mean? You've got a family, missus. You've got if you wanted to trade that in for a night down the pub, I don't even think we'd be mates because I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly.
What are
You'd be
you
like,
doing?
"What is?" Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you said that. That's why we are mates.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
And yeah, I just think like if we went to a pub, do you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. Do you know what? You're right, actually, John. I'm just gonna have 2 beers and go home like a normal person. Are you gonna get that pint and nurse that pint? Nah. We will just literally, it will just go straight down the hatch, wouldn't it? That's what would happen. It would go down the hatch, and then the spiral. I'll be in someone's kitchen till 6 a.m. talking fucking bollocks. And wake up riddled with anxiety and be like, my life is over.
Cheers, John.
Cheers, Johnny. You wanker.
Yeah, you absolute wanker.
Yeah.
Leave.
But you got what you wanted,
people.
though, didn't you?
You got what you wanted, yeah. You saw me drinking, great, thanks. You happy now?
So think how many relapses, yeah. So think, because you must get it all the time, and I get messages of people saying, I really resonate with your videos, and I love your podcast, but I really, really, really can't kick the drink. So they would do fucking anything in their power to quit drinking. They eventually pluck up the courage to do it and make the plunge. And then one of their twatty mates says, just come round for a couple. Oh, don't be boring, blah, blah, blah. Oh, come on, mate, you're no fun anymore. You're fucking that person's life up.
Yeah.
You're literally stopping that person from making one of the most life-changing things.
Mistakes that they'll ever make again.
Which could have an impact on their family, could have an impact on their work, it could do so much for them. But just because you want to have a couple of beers because you don't want to drink on your own, you're going to fucking drag them down with you.
Yeah. And it's easy to call them wankers, and they are. But I 100% was a wanker on. Not.
Same.
Look, I wouldn't go, oh, you've been 6 months sober, have a drink. That's not me. I'm not like that. But if my mate was on the was umming and ahhing about, oh no, I don't think I'll drink this weekend because it's not been doing me much good lately, and I'm a bit skint, and it's winter, and I'm going to find it depressing, and I'm not going to enjoy it, I'd have been like, come on, mate, let's have a pint. It'll be all right.
Oh,
Because
same.
I was dying inside. I couldn't handle the fact that I was the only one that was in such a mess.
Yeah, no,
So,
mate, I know. I was that person as well.
but I would never try and make someone drink if they. they'd stopped drinking. I was in a hostel in I think it was Vietnam, but I was about 3 or 4 years sober, and there was this guy from Middlesbrough, and he was going on and on and on and on about how cool he was because of his ketamine tolerance. And I'm just lying there thinking, will you shut your hole? And he's telling the whole dormitory. And then so they were getting ready to go out, and bear in mind, I'd been up at like 6:30, and I'd gone to museums, and I'd been traipsing around, and I was knackered. You know, I was doing my trip the right way for me,
Yeah.
and I had no intention of even nipping out for a bite to eat. I was wrecked, and kept prodding. And then he said, "Why won't you come out and have a drink?" I was like, "Because I was a raging alcoholic." And he went,
Yeah.
"Oh, that got deep quick." It's like, that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say, Bellend? Like,
Yeah.
so, and
Mate,
I remember
feel
that was
you.
a really, and I remember there was a guy lying on the bed next, like to the other side of the room. And the next day, he was a really nice bloke. Him and I wandered around town together, and he asked me about it, and he asked me how it was contending with it, and we were talking about it, and I just recall how comfortable I was to tell people,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm sober. I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Nothing you're going to say, knobhead, is going to entice me down to the pub."
Yeah.
But I'm lucky. I'm like that. I'm blunt. I'm sober or drunk. I am sometimes too much, but what I'm thinking, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't care who doesn't want to hear it, and I don't care how precious you are or close to me. I'm just fucking gonna say it. Because
Yeah.
if you don't want the truth, or you can't handle the truth, don't poke me. And I'm like that with everyone in my life. It's hard sometimes with people that are close to you, but so I do think I was one of the luckier types that could navigate those situations by just telling people to piss off.
Yeah.
But I think,
But if you don't, that conversation's going to go on for so fucking long. And if you haven't got the willpower, what are you going to do? Are you going to crumble because of this twat?
yeah.
So yeah, the best thing. I mean, you're not lying, are you? You was an alcoholic.
Yeah. Why would you lie about that?
You're not lying. So I just don't know what else you're meant to do. Yeah, mate. Had a drink problem. I don't know. I just don't know what they want to hear.
Well, the thing is, you don't get asked these questions typically in a garden centre or on a walk because you joined a walking group, or when you all come out the sea because you're part of a cold swimming group, or at the end of an Ironman. You don't get asked these questions by people whose lives are going places and are,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So if you find yourself frequently having to fend off questions from these kind of people, those are the people you need to stop hanging out with. Oh, but
I
they're my
agree.
friends but they'd be my friends. Well, like, do you want to carry on drinking and keep having a drink problem? Let's go blunt. This is what, if people are, if you're listening, if you're listening, and
Okay.
you are, because you're hearing me right now, sobriety, continued long-term successful sobriety comes with fat ass big decisions.
Agreed.
Maybe you're gonna have to do some pals, tough shit.
There will be some. I mean, your mind opens up anyway. It's a nice thing because, well, it's a bit of an eye-opening thing actually, because when you realise that you don't actually want to spend, and I'm not talking about anyone personally in my life, but let's say acquaintances that I used to see down the pub. You think that they're your mates because you sit there and you moan about your lives to each other, and you genuinely think that person is there for you. When you quit drinking, you realise that you don't want to fucking spend time with that person, or you don't think to call them once. That's because the only thing that you had in common was drinking. They never gave a fuck about you. You never gave a fuck about them. You were just someone to drink with. So it's no loss.
No. And it serves its purpose at the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
but you can't reminisce on, purpose
Right.
serving a year
Fucking
ago.
have 5 Stellas and put the worlds to right. Do you know what I mean?
So what about like the inevitable in pub situation where people say these kind of things? We were talking, if you're comfortable enough, you've got various things you can say. Sorry, I'm not drinking, or I'm an alcoholic. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I used to drink, but I was a wanker when I had a drink. All these things. You
Yeah.
have to find the sentence that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
That either nullifies the other person or makes them think enough to perhaps ask you like, was it really damaging for you? Oh, okay, fair enough then. Those people are cool. I don't
Yeah.
mind that.
But that doesn't happen in a pub environment.
But that doesn't
Not
happen in a
my
pub
pub.
environment. That might happen in the office
Yeah.
at
Which,
lunchtime. But
yeah.
how do you? And this is a question to you. How do you contend? Because no one asked me. But how do you contend with at work? Oh, you're coming out on Friday night. We're all going out.
Well, depends how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm feeling a little, I don't know, like, because I will still go out. I won't. I should probably actually go out more, if anything.
Mm.
But if I do go out, and what do you mean, like if people start asking me if I want beers and shit like that?
No, so I mean, if you're at work, I mean, outside of the pub environment where people might say, "Oh, do you want to go for a drink? We're all going out on Friday night. You just
Oh,
started a new gym." Or if you're on Tinder and a lass says, "Oh, all right, cool, we could go for a few drinks at this place."
yeah.
Like, how do you
Yeah.
deal with those things when people aren't like poking you or being dickheads, just asking like a straight up normal question?
So for me, straight up is I'll literally say I don't drink. Simple as that. And then if they then say, "Oh, how comes?" Blah blah blah, I'll just be like, "It ruined my life, so I don't drink anymore."
Mm-hmm.
I don't. To a complete stranger, I'm not just gonna. They don't need to know my life story, do they? They don't need to know that I was fucking like pretty much homeless because of drinking and stuff like that. It's like, do you know what I mean? Especially if you're on Tinder, fuck your chances up before
Yeah.
you even started.
Oh, why don't you drink? Because I don't want to go back to breakfast drinking in the halfway house.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So you don't have to spill the beans to absolutely everyone. I just think thanks for the offer, but I don't drink. And then when the more you get to know someone, or if you feel comfortable opening up, open up, let them know. When I first stopped, I would tell everyone. I would, because I was
Mm-hmm.
proud of it. Do you know what I mean?
Same here.
And because I was battling, and it was hard. I and obviously I still look fucked. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm withdrawing. I would tell everyone, like, get it off my fucking chest. The more people know, the better.
Yeah.
But now I don't think I should be, or anyone should be defined like you're. Yeah, your name's Gary. You've got 2 kids, missus. Why do you need to bring up the fact that you're sober? That's not who you are. Yes, a
Mm.
huge thing in your life, but your sobriety, because you don't drink alcohol, that does not define who you are. You're
Yeah.
telling me all you have got about you is the fact that you're sober. That's it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? That's Gary sober. Fuck him off.
Hi, nice to meet you, Gary. What do you do? I do be sober.
yeah.
All right, weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it needs to be more common knowledge that you're not just defined by being a sober person. Like, you enjoy meditating, you enjoy walking. I'm sure there's loads of things that you enjoy that even I don't know about. But crazy answer to your question, but the answer to my question is just tell them that I don't drink.
It's, there is no right or wrong answer. I did a reel not long after I'd started SoberNSound, where typically quite aggressive, where I said, "What should you do if someone comes up to you and says you don't drink, and you say, 'Oh, would you like a drink?' and you say, 'Oh, I don't drink,' and then they poke you, you go, 'You're a fucking adult and you're calling me out for not chugging a poison down my neck, just piss off.
Yeah.
And if you're getting these kind of questions or you're encountering this a lot, it's decision time.
Yeah.
It's fucking decision time. What do you want? Do you want to be pestered by people that drinking is central to their social life, or do you just want to have a new social life with new different people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you've got a running group now, haven't you?
Yeah.
You go regularly on a Saturday morning, a group of you go. Now, how many of them are your mates, like from, your mates?
One.
There you go. And how many go on an average week?
Sometimes 10.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like the reels you do, or stories. There's a fair number of people there.
Yeah.
So there you are.
Yeah, exactly.
9 new people. And do you get fulfilling conversations with them?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
And you weren't one for much conversation when you were drinking, were you?
Nah. Nah.
You needed 6 pints of fuel just to like even open your mouth. I'm not like that. I think you're a bit more. I think you're quieter than me generally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you are. It's Ron Seal, isn't it? It's what it says on the tin. It's like, I don't drink now, so I don't hang out with people that ask me that question a lot, apart from my real core mates who you'd like to think wouldn't ask you that anyway.
And they
so
don't.
I go running with people that like running.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Exactly.
So fuck off.
Exactly. I think it's wise if you're in early sobriety. I think it's wise to avoid places where you're going to be asked these questions, because all it's going to do is make you doubt yourself. And you know what it's like. How many times in the first year did you think, is this even worth it?
Oh.
So
truthfully, almost every day.
Yeah. So it wasn't going to take much convincing, was it, for someone to get you back on the sauce? Which is why you didn't put yourself in them environments where there was a potential cause for you to relapse.
Yeah, you're right. And what I did what you did. I told everyone at the beginning. I started a teaching gig with pretty much a whole new set of teachers that I didn't know, bar one or two, and 5 weeks sober. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm 5 weeks sober. Yeah. Oh, nice to meet you too. I've not had a drink for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So that took that out of it. And then I remember going out one Friday night. It must have been 2 weeks sober, and I left early. I mean, early. The night was just getting started. It was a Spanish party, so it was late starting. And I went for a little bit. I ended up in this club, looked around and thought, well, I don't know how to act here. I'm going home. And I didn't really go out again for about another 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the point?
Yeah.
I had to reconstruct my life. I don't need dickheads just going, yeah, I'm a fucking drink.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty black and white, isn't it? In your spare time, are you going to do things? Are you going to choose to do things that you enjoy, or choose things that you don't enjoy? I think if you're, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, you're not going to enjoy going to the pub anymore when that was the place that ruined your life and you're trying to change. So going there is just literally like a massive cock tease. What is the point? So you're going to do things that you enjoy, or that are going to push you in the right direction of where you want to be in life.
Yeah.
Every single day you can just do something small, but if it's progressing you further to your goal, then you're going to do that. What's the point in knocking about with people that are just going to make you feel like a cunt?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
I'd lose my rag in the early days if people try to, even if they think it's banter. It's not fucking funny. It's not funny when you end up in a hostel and you get evicted from a hostel and you've fallen out of all your family. Your family are ashamed of you. You're not progressing, or your mates are. It's not fucking jokes, is it? Like, as much as we have a joke, it's really not. Life is the most important thing. What? And you've pissed yours all up the wall and lived miserably for 80% of your life. It's not fucking funny, and you shouldn't have a joke about it. which is ironic because I'm fucking laughing all the time. What a cunt.
But that's you're so right, mate. You're so right. It's just, being sober isn't just not drinking. It's unlocking a door to so much of
Yeah, man.
real life. And if you're doing sobriety right, you probably won't care when people poke. Okay, you'll care because you'll be like, all right, mate, give it a fucking rest.
Yeah.
But deep down inside you, if you're doing sobriety right and you're taking the right steps and some drastic steps and making big changes, you shouldn't really be that fussed by some clown trying to
No,
tempt you to drink in a pub.
no. And what gets me is it's not just so if I haven't seen someone for 6 months, again, this isn't my close mates because they all know the score. They're all my actual friends. But there'll be people that I haven't seen in 6 months, and it will be the first and the only thing that they want to talk to me about.
Mm.
They don't give a fuck about anything else. They just want to ask me how long I've been sober for, and if I'm finding it hard, and just quiz me about it, really. But I don't know. I could have had a fucking kid. I could have got married.
Mm.
Wishful thinking, I know. But that's all they care about. And then that's all night. That's like for a couple of hours. And then the little jokes come out like, oh, here he is. You having a beer? I so, mate.
Yeah. Can I chin you now or later?
Yeah,
I don't mind someone coming up to me, say I was a couple of years sober. I wouldn't mind someone coming up to me going, all right, mate, how's sobriety going? How's it treating you? And I go,
yeah,
really well. I've really got my life back on track.
yeah.
I'm healthy. Work's going really well. I feel good about myself. And I think I've shaken a lot of the demons. And then I would like someone to go, that's great. Awesome. How's your mum? Or, all right, did you watch so-and-so the game last week?
Yeah,
I've told you I've given you my summary of my sobriety and how my life's better. We'll leave it there, shall we?
yeah.
Um,
But the
it's
thing is, that's never happened.
that's
That's
happened
never
to me.
happened.
That's happened to me.
I've never gone to a pub and been asked how's sobriety treating you. It's still not drinking, are you boring cunt?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm too busy getting up early to go paddleboarding. You're boring.
Yeah, mate.
You have to. You almost have to feel for these people. Yeah. I know we're a bit cynical and we get a bit mouthy and sweary, but there also has to be a little bit. I think if you approach it from an empathetic point of view as well, try to. This person's pushing me because they've got an issue.
Yeah.
So maybe that takes the edge off your frustration,
Yeah.
stroke anger, stroke, oh God, here we go again vibe.
Yeah.
So there's,
Yeah.
and you are able to be more empathetic when you get sober because you do feel those emotions and you're not just constantly thinking about yourself or,
Yeah.
crawling up your own arse because you've got nowhere else to go. So
It's funny when you see the ones when they're not around certain people and they're proper like, yeah, I really want to give it a good go, or they're messaging you being like, yeah, I'm done with it now, da 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 da, and then they're in the pub, but they've had a few beers and they're with like a group of lads and that, they're like giving it the big one again. It's like, hold on, cunt, I remember you, I remember you. Do you know what I mean? I remember when you was fragile, pouring your heart out to me. So
yeah.
don't give me shit now, boy.
No, but these are the people really we should be putting our arm around and helping. But getting sober is so difficult. If you really need to get sober, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
And for other people who might be that person, some people will listen and they'll be like, oh, do you know what? I want to get sober, but I'm also that person that asks that annoying question or makes that sarcastic dig. So if you are that person,
Yeah.
stop being a knobhead. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Nah.
Far from it. But this is a conversation about alcoholism, sobriety, and everything that
Yeah.
comes with it. So if you're that person, if you're listening to this to get sober, and sometimes you're that person, don't be. It's not fair. It's not
Nah.
fair. You
Nah.
know.
Not fair. It's not fair. And like what might be a laugh and a joke for you when you go to work, fresh as the days on a Monday morning, you've egged that person on that he's still drinking now. Do you know what I mean? He's
I
still
mean,
drinking now.
it's
But
just childish, isn't it? It's just
but
weird.
the thing is, I do feel very hypocritical because that was me. That was me. I didn't want to be around people that weren't on my same wavelength because it would have made me feel uncomfortable.
But it's okay to
I'd have been like,
make
"Why are you
this.
coming to the pub? You're not drinking."
Yeah, yeah.
You would have been like that as well. I know you would have, wouldn't you?
Hmm.
Because do you know what I mean? You're sat down there on your own. You're
Yeah,
sat down there on your own with a paper, like on a Monday at 11 a.m.
yeah. Being
And
there,
then
man. Like,
some guys come in and ordered a latte. You're like, oh, look at this twat who's like not drinking booze.
I mean, I think that of anyone that drinks a latte anyway, it's like, why would you want so much bloody milk in it, man?
Oh, really? I drink latte.
Are you a latte?
Yeah.
Oh god. Why don't you drink black coffee with no sugar, you
Yeah,
pussy? You
you
know,
pussy.
it's the same. It's like, you know,
Girls drink.
girls drink lattes, boys drink black coffee. You
Yeah,
know, no, it doesn't work like that. You know, I, I just give people space and give people time to adjust. But also, if you are the person that's walking into the pub when you're trying to get sober, maybe don't go to the pub.
yeah.
And when you get to a certain length of sobriety, you'll be better versed at dealing with things like that.
I do feel like it's a huge problem for people though. I really do. I think it's the biggest thing that holds people back from quitting drinking is the change that comes with it. The fear of change, the fear of losing their friends, and because it is scary, isn't it?
Of
Like
course, it is.
it's mate.
It's a forever. It's that fear of a forever commitment. That's why
Yeah,
one day at a time works so well. At the beginning, you can't live your whole life one day at a time. That's mental, and that's just AA cultish
yeah,
vibes. You
yeah.
know, that's why I call myself a former alcoholic, because I'm not an alcoholic anymore.
No, and you
Oh,
fucking earned that right. Do you know what I mean?
once an alcoholic, oh, what are you on about?
Yeah, no, you've earned that right to not booked. All right, let's check
Um,
your liver.
I don't
Um,
know. I've forgotten what you asked me originally, but it is hard, and it is a commitment for forever. But you can't think of it like that.
because when you think about it, if you really deep it, the changes, the good is of course going to outweigh the bad by fucking 100 times. But the scary thought is thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to, or I'm not going to have the same nights out with blah 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 who we go out with every Friday.
Mm.
Everything's going to change, and so I suppose when you're withdrawing from booze, probably grieving at the same time as well because you've lost a lot,
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
You've lost a lot, but it's all shit. But you don't think it's time. It's true. But you don't, do you? You don't think it's shit.
No.
And then when the light bulb moment happens, you're like, fuck me. What was I worried about?
Yeah. That's really,
Hell,
really important for people. Oh, but I can't imagine never drinking again. Don't worry about that, because if you just do one day at a time for a couple of years, you won't be asked about it anyway.
exactly.
It's not a forever commitment. What your commitment is to today, and then tomorrow your commitment
Exactly.
is today, and then on Wednesday your commitment is Wednesday, and then after 49 weeks you'll be nearly a year sober, and you'll still be a bit reeling, and then you'll do another year, and then you won't want to drink.
It's the best advice, mate. That's the best advice because it's going to scare anyone. A lifetime commitment is going to scare anyone. If you, one day at a time, it's a huge thing. It's a
Yeah,
huge
man.
thing. Thinking that you're never going to drink again is fucking daunting, overwhelming, and all it's going to do is scare you into drinking a bottle of vodka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And also, like, one day at a time, it encourages present moment living, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is how you should be living anyway.
Well, living in the future is anxiety
And living in the past is regret, you know?
and
If you're living in the
depression.
present, pat yourself on the back every day when you go to bed and go, oh, I didn't have a drink today. Great. Feel it. Pay attention to how that feels.
Yeah.
Because when you get to bed without a drink at the beginning, you've done it. Because it's very unlikely you're going to like stick your clothes back on at 11:30 and then nip down to the 24-hour garage. Do you know what I mean? It's very unlikely. So every night you get into bed, you can just give yourself a little pat on the back and go, okay, that's great, that's done. Don't have to think about 2029,
No.
you know, when so-and-so is going to be 60 and all these parties. You probably won't go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
No, exactly. The fear is a real thing. Fear of being judged, being boring, not having a life, not having a social life, not enjoying anything because you feel like you're not going to enjoy anything because when you're drinking, all you enjoy is drinking. If you're an alcoholic or if you've got a drink problem,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that you get happiness from because you've drunk so much that your brain now thinks that that's the only dopamine that it's getting.
Mm.
But you might turn into a weirdo like me and start finding joy in going for a fucking walk around some trees, a bit of forestry.
Wow.
32 going on 62.
But that's the idea. That's what drinkers think, isn't it? It's like, oh, walking and hiking is for people near retirement. No, it's not. It's not. All these healthy, savory things are fulfilling and enjoyable, and it's the right kind of dopamine, isn't it? And then you get used to that dopamine fix. I'm not perfect. I still accidentally slip into the bookies, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
But I did a reel the other day, and one of the things was things that are easier sober, walking past the bookies. I didn't say it was always walking past the bookies, but it's easier to walk past the bookies.
yeah,
And I walk past the bookies 89 times out of 100. Occasionally I'll pop in and have a £3 accumulator. But
yeah,
I'm not, you know, like, we're
yeah.
not perfect, but
No. Listen, and that's one thing that I think is really important for everyone to know. Like, you still might be a twat if you become sober, but you're going to be more with it to address that and know that you've still got issues. I've had loads of issues, and I'm not perfect. Can have like a short fucking temper, and there's things that I know that I've needed to work on, but haven't bothered because I've just drunk and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I can still get down, like everyone can. Life's hard. Can still get a bit of anxiety. Again, life can be stressful, but you now fix that or try to fix that
Mm-hmm.
because you're not burying your head in the sand.
No, exactly. It's one thing at a time, isn't it? It's like you just work your way, work out how not to drink, then work out how to confront a demon or two, then,
Yeah,
you know, work out new ways to live. And it's all like, it's progress, it's not perfection. And you just
yeah,
have to take it one day. I wasn't even thinking about that. It was the natural thing to say. You just take it one day at a time.
yeah.
And it is grieving, but with grieving, you have to take that one day at a time. You know, like we'll wrap it up now, but like the idea was to work out, I think, hopefully, what this episode does, it gives people confidence to give less of a fuck.
Yeah.
Because you're not the one doing anything wrong. You're making an attempt to improve your life.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all. That's where it should end.
That's
Done.
it. Yeah.
You know, that should be it.
You're not a bad person for that.
No,
And
it's
the knock-on effect as well is you're not just improving your life. If you're a bad drinker, you're improving everyone that love you his life as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say if you have feelings of alienation or are finding it difficult to contend with these questions, why are you encountering these questions in the first place? Where are you encountering them?
Yeah.
And if they're in places that correlate to triggers and places that have sticky carpets and dartboards, then maybe you shouldn't be in them.
Yeah.
And then also, if you are getting or feeling uncomfortable by someone at work on a Tuesday afternoon that mentions drinking and you get pressed, you know, how...
Blunt word, I don't drink.
Just be honest and own it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That was so many people attach shame to alcoholism, but you don't. The shameful thing is doing nothing about it. If you're doing something about it, lose the shame.
Yeah.
And then there's that like a comfort in yourself. There's an ease within yourself, so you should be able to just fend off any question. You know, and it's only going to get easier as the years go on and people embrace more of a non-alcohol related lifestyle.
And honestly, like what you said, who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks? Honestly, if you're doing something to improve your life, who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks? I could not give a
You wouldn't stop going to the gym because a person took the piss out of you at work.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck them.
So yeah, let's just fuck everyone. Go,
yeah.
Go forth and fuck everyone.
Fuck you all.
Yeah, man. Let's leave it there. Wicked. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are at the Sober Stretch on Instagram. Episodes are released 3 p.m. on Sundays on YouTube and Spotify. You can find me on at SoberNSound, which is my individual page, Gary, about sobriety and alcoholism, hard-hitting, no-nonsense stuff. Craig?
I'm at live without limits _coaching, and mine's more fitness related.
Sure is. Follow, subscribe, like, share, save, do everything for the algorithm. We're not algorithm friendly. We'll get there, but we're just like telling it like it is for people that like us.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
don't
for
know all the tricks of the trade, and we
we'll
don't
get
have
there.
any of the fancy stuff. But
that's the appeal. We'll get
real
there.
is real.
We are, when we get time to really like spin this out, we will massively do so. And thank you for everyone that listens and supports us and leaves lovely comments on our posts and also messages us and feels brave enough to message us and thank us for what we do. It's our pleasure, and stay sober.
Sweet, man.
Peace.
Adios.
Adios.